Sanjha TV ਵੇਖਦੇ ਵੀਅਰਸ ਸਵਾਗਤ ਹੈ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸਪੈਸ਼ਲ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਸੁਖੀ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਦੀਵਾਲੀ ਦੀਆਂ ਲੱਖ ਮੁਬਾਰਕਾਂ। ਅੱਜ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹੋਏ ਹਾਂ ਸਰੀ ਸਿਟੀ ਹਾਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿੱਥੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਨਵਾਂ ਮੇਅਰ ਇਲੈਕਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਆ ਸਰੀ ਰੈਜ਼ੀਡੈਂਟਸ ਨੇ ਇਲੈਕਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਮੇਅਰ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਡਾ ਲੌਕ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਐਕਸਕਲੂਸਿਵ ਤੇ ਖਾਸ ਇੰਟਰਵਿਊ ਕਰਨ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਸੀ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੰਸਰਨਸ ਕੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਸਰੀ ਦੇ ਭਵਿੱਖ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ, ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਜਵਾਬ ਦਿੱਤੇ ਸੀਗੇ ਰੋਡਸ ਦਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ, ਨਿਊਟਨ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਪਰੇਸ਼ਾਨੀਆਂ ਸੀਗੀਆਂ ਟਰਾਂਸਪੋਰਟੇਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ, ਹਸਪੀਟਲ ਦੇ ਵੇਟ ਟਾਈਮਸ, ਨਵਾਂ ਹਸਪੀਟਲ ਕਦੋਂ ਮਿਲੂਗਾ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸੀਨੀਅਰਸ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਬਹਿਣ ਦੀ ਫੈਸਿਲਿਟੀਜ਼ ਪਾਰਕਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ, ਰੈਕਰੀਏਸ਼ਨ ਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਟੇਡੀਅਮਸ ਆ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਫੋਰਮਰ ਮੇਅਰ ਡਗ ਮੈਕਕਲਮ ਨੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤੀਆਂ ਉਹਦਾ ਭਵਿੱਖ ਕੀ ਹੋਊਗਾ, ਅਤੇ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੱਡੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਸਾਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ RCMP ਦੀ ਟ੍ਰਾਂਜੀਸ਼ਨ ਟੂ ਸਰੀ ਪੁਲਿਸ ਸਿਸਟਮ। ਸੋ ਉਹਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਮੇਅਰ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਨਵੇਂ ਵਿਊਜ਼ ਹੈਗੇ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਕੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਪਲਾਨਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ, ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਅੱਜ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਣ ਜਾ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ। ਸੋ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਸਵਾਲਾਂ ਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਅੱਜ ਮਿਲੂਗਾ। ਸੋ ਆਓ ਅਸੀਂ ਰਲ ਕੇ ਮੇਅਰ ਬ੍ਰੈਂਡਾ ਲੌਕ ਦੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਰੂਬਰੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਅਤੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕੁਐਸਚਨਸ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਹਾਂ। So on behalf of Sanjha TV, and we'd like to congratulate our new mayor, Brenda Locke, for your position. We're excited to have you on board, and we know you're taking over during a challenging time right now for Surrey, and especially in modern history as we continue to come out of a pandemic, rebuild our economy, and create more equitable and prosperous future for the city of Surrey. So again, like I said, congratulations and welcome.
Thank you. And it will be exciting times, that's for sure. And you're right. We're not only in difficult financial times, we're probably heading into even more difficult times. So fiscal accountability and responsibility is going to be incredibly hard moving forward is going to be incredibly important.
Great. So we did get a chance to speak to some of our viewers, and there are some questions, obviously, with you taking over now, sort of the previous mayorship and things that were being done then. So, there are a few things I think right now Surrey residents are a little bit over on the edge about, and, we'd like to speak to you more about some clarity and, and getting some answers to them. First, obviously, is going to be the plan, in regards with the transition from RCMP to SPS. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and the plans that are undergoing with that?
Right. So as we continue on with the RCMP, right now, as we speak, actually, staff are looking to build the question that was put forward by the Solicitor General. How do we continue on with the RCMP? That report is being developed, both from a financial perspective and from an operational perspective. We hope to have something ready for the public to see, probably the middle of November, end of November kind of timing. Mm-hmm. So I look forward to that, and I have been involved in that up until now, but now it's staff's turn to take it over.
Okay. Would you consider a ratification or allowing, the citizens to vote or, have a say in this?
I think that the citizens have spoken. I think the election was one of those times, but there has been countless polls. There has been the City of Surrey that's done our own consultation process getting to the point that we are. And there was also an Elections BC petition that mm-hmm. was pretty clear. And so I think the citizens have definitely spoken about this issue a number of times. But I will tell you, moving forward, there will be a board made up of Surrey citizens that will be helping to direct policy for the RCMP. This will be the first one in Canada. It's very exciting. I'm certainly excited about it. And I've started that conversation with both the RCMP and the federal government.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit more about the permit backlog situation. We know there's quite a bit of a wait. Developers are, quite frustrated. So are there any plans to speed up, say, multi-family dwelling, single-family dwelling homes and renovation permits?
Yeah, so certainly that came out loud and clear in the election time, and I think every one of the camps commented on it, as did we. But I think one of the big things we have to look to is technology. So I have brought that up to staff. They're starting to look at how we can use technology to streamline some of what we're doing. But I think the other thing that has been very, very obvious, and especially to those people who are getting permits or looking at building permits, is the interference from council into moving different projects forward. That will stop.
Okay.
That absolutely will stop. It will all be on the basis of when you come in, that's when your project will be moving forward. No more friends and family.
So if you know someone, if you've got to connect, it's not going to work anymore.
Those days are gone.
Great. As far as sports complexes and facilities for recreation, former Mayor Doug McCullum had started some projects. Let's talk a little bit more about Bear Creek. And there was a promise to build a stadium there. What's your vision with that stadium?
Yeah,
sports
so
complexes?
the stadium is well underway, and we will be obviously continuing. It was a great plan, and I support that plan wholeheartedly. We need that kind of stadium, especially there. The old bleachers were, I'm telling you, you'd get a sliver if you sat on them. They were done. It was time for a renewal for sure.
Okay, so that will continue, some of those plans that were in progress. Okay, perfect. Any sort of plans to increase tourism to the city of Surrey?
Well, I just finished a meeting with the Surrey Board of Trade and about those very kind of issues. How do we enhance the city so that hotels want to come here and we start to make Surrey that destination place? And so we're starting that conversation, and I know that the Surrey Board of Trade is a big advocate of that, and so I'll be working with them.
Great. Let's talk a little bit more about transportation now. We know that the SkyTrain project to Langley is underway. So Surrey taxpayers want to know what's going to be the likelihood of that going through. How do we expect to pay for this? Is it going through?
So the SkyTrain is actually the Surrey Langley SkyTrain is already budgeted for. That's a provincial and federal government funded project, and so that will go directly through to Langley. The timeline, I can't tell you that that's going to happen, but we're trying for 2028, and so fingers crossed that'll work out. But absolutely, that SkyTrain is well on the books.
Okay. As I mentioned before, we spoke to some Surrey residents, and they wanted to kind of bring up some of their concerns. So Newton residents feel neglected. They are really upset. They think there's not enough attention given to them. South Surrey seems to be getting a majority of the attention. The new roads, garbage pickup, signs being taken down, on posters taken down. So what are your plans for Newton? Are there any plans that are going to be going underway right away?
Thanks for bringing that up. Newton actually does have a right to feel neglected. They have been. And we were driving around in our campaign bus and looking at some of the parks in Newton. They're in appalling shape, and that has to change. So we will be working with the residents of Newton with a Newton strategy, we're calling it. I will be assigning one of the councillors directly to look at what's happening in Newton.
Great.
It's not only, though, just the parks, the roads in Newton. We wouldn't put up with it in other neighbourhoods. I live in Tynehead. My roads don't look like that.
Yes.
And so we absolutely need to pay more care with Newton and the roads there, and absolutely I'm going to be doing that.
Yeah, because winter is approaching. There's so many potholes. Their vehicles are getting damaged, and so they want to know, kind of timelines as to when they may be able to see changes.
Yeah.
We realize things take time, but they've waited a long time.
They have waited a long time, and we were on 80th actually, and there was a big chunk of sidewalk gone on 80th, and I looked at it, and it's been over 2 months. These are roads that kids are using to go to school. That is completely offside. We have to fix that. So yes, absolutely, we're going to be paying attention to Newton and as fast as we can.
Right. You did mention 80th Avenue, and there was another question in regards to 80th Avenue, so we'll just go right into that. There is no bus service from 80th Avenue that goes to Scott Road. Is that something that can be considered?
I have a meeting coming up with Coast Mountain because, public transportation in Surrey is in need all over the city, but certainly in Newton. We absolutely know the 323, which is the one that goes down 72nd, is often to capacity. So, another route in Surrey is absolutely needed. Our east-west connections aren't as good as they should be, and I'll be talking to Coast Mountain about those because we were also noticing that a lot of the buses that are canceled are canceled in Surrey.
Right.
And we have some of the most aggressive ridership in all of Metro Vancouver. In fact, right after the pandemic, it was interesting that our ridership came up in Surrey, came up faster than in other cities. So it was speaking volumes to the fact that we need public transportation, we need more, and we need it now.
Right. And I guess that could also be another reason, obviously, with increasing population. So we see the stunts in public transportation, and we can also take it over to our medical healthcare system, per se, hospitals.
Yes.
So right now at Surrey Memorial Hospital, the wait is close to about 4 or 5 hours, if not more, minimum 4 or 5 hours in emergency. And some of the residents, their questions were, why don't we have a hospital on the Highway 10 side? Or, why is the wait time so much at Surrey Memorial? Or better yet, why can't we get a private hospital in Surrey or just another hospital, period? So what's your vision with that?
So we know that the province has committed to a new hospital off of number 10, and that's awesome. I would like to see it bigger than it's planned for, and maybe downstream it will be.
Right.
But one of the things that I'm going to be advocating for is a third tower at SMH. We need that, and we need it desperately.
Yes.
We need more capacity at SMH. And building that large campus of care is exactly what the docs want to see, the doctors, because they want to see that synergy that happens when they have that volume in that area. We already can see what's happening with the healthcare district that's surrounding SMH. So another tower there would be awesome. And there is a plan. There is a plan for one. So I have talked with Surrey Memorial Hospital Foundation about that, and we will work with them to advocate for that.
That's great news. Working along with Surrey Memorial Hospital and speaking to them, I'm sure you know about the detox centers, and you've probably worked closely speaking to them about it. So there is another question about, any thoughts about adding more detox centers to Surrey, with our rising, problems with, drug and alcohol. It seems to be ongoing. Is there a chance that we may be able to see some of that?
Yeah, I am so hopeful that we can do something with Fraser Health Authority. The problem we have is in all of Fraser Health Authority, which goes all the way from, I think it's Boston Bar, all the way through to New West, including Surrey, there is one detox facility. Not nearly enough. Not nearly enough. So we get people from all over this healthcare region coming to Creekside. That's the name of it. Right. In Surrey. We need another detox in the region. I don't know if it needs to be in Surrey, but we certainly in the region need another detox, because when you have a person who's in addiction and they say, I want to.
When they finally say they want to.
They want help today, and you better capture that moment, because if you don't, you've lost them. And you need to make sure that you're helping them at the time they ask. And we can do better. We can do better. We need another detox for sure.
Great. As the new mayor, I mean, obviously you've done your homework. You've already spoken to, all these facilities, all these foundations, and you undoubtedly have, ideas about changes that you want to see, new initiatives, which is great, that you may be bringing to Surrey. Talk to us about maybe a program or initiative that you have in mind that can potentially benefit seniors as well? We haven't really spoken about them, but there's a huge population out in Surrey. Anything on the works for them?
Well, one of the things that we talked about during the campaign, and I'm going to continue on with, is that we have a healthcare administrator as part of the staff at Surrey. One of the problems we're seeing is that dovetail between what the city is responsible for, whether it's seniors care or any care, whether it's addictions needs, the dovetail between the health authority and what we're delivering as community health is not necessarily simpatico. It's not really always dovetailed. So we really do want to see that that we have somebody that's speaking on behalf of the city that is working together with Fraser Health Authority. And I have talked to people at the authority, and they're looking forward to that too, because they can see where we could be doing a better job with what we're doing with seniors, but with all populations.
In the South Asian community, we do have a big population of seniors that love to use the park facilities. And, we have some beautiful parks in Surrey. Sometimes what happens is there's not enough seating or benches. Is there any programs you can implement, like per se Vancouver has, where you can buy a bench in memorial of someone? Is that something that you would look at implementing perhaps?
We haven't looked at the memorial benches, but I agree with you. That's a great plan as well. But I have gone to a number of parks over the last few months, and we need to do more park benches, covered park benches, and park tables, picnic tables for seniors. What tends to happen, which I think is unfortunate, is there seems to be tables where the males go, the men are at, and it's the women that are
segregated.
They're bringing their own chairs. That's not okay. We can do, and I get that they want the senior women want to have their own space, so we can do that. That's a doable thing. It's not a big expense, and it's something that is community building and makes sense in parks. I mean, often it's the grandparents that are watching the kids. Have facilities for them that they can all participate in the green areas.
Right. Also, you brought up expense as well. So we know these things are not, cheap. They are obviously going to cost taxpayers money. We're talking about new towers. We're talking about, projects for transportation, fixing roads. So what is your experience or your projection for getting these projects completed on time within a budget? And what kind of experience do you have working with budgets and managing them? Like, do you think what are some keys to successfully managing Surrey taxpayers' money?
I think it's crucially important. I chaired the finance committee for the province when I was an MLA for 2 terms, and I can tell you, going around the province was really helpful for us to understand what people were looking for. We're going to do the same thing in Surrey, and I've already talked to staff about that. We will be taking the budget consultation into the community. So we'll go to the 6 town centres and talk to neighbourhoods about what they want to see in their own community. It's not always the big things. It is those park tables and benches and things like that. A little boy in West Newton Park, he came up to me and said, "Can you build me a basketball court here in my..." You know what? Yes. I won't forget that little guy. And of course we can. Those are great initiatives.
And easily doable.
They're doable and they're within budget. They'll be within our parks budget for sure. If you look at our parks budget last year, I think we were $27 million under budget. I don't want to ever be under budget for parks. Those are what builds community, what builds our neighborhoods, and what keeps people safe, what keeps kids occupied. So those are great initiatives.
Great. Before we close, are there any projects that are undergoing right now that have been started and not completed by our former Mayor Doug McCullum that you think you're going to scrap or perhaps consider not going forward with at this time?
Well, I don't think I'll be going forward with the 60,000 seat stadium. or canals, nothing like that. But what we're looking at doing, for example, Cloverdale is getting a twin ice arena there. We're looking to see if we can put the third ice arena in. There's a little bit of complication around that, but certainly we're looking at that from a financial point of view. I mean, we need to build facilities and infrastructure in this city. There's no question about that. And so we're going to keep on looking at places where we can increase those kind of amenities in our city.
Let's fast forward to 4 years. Where does Brenda Locke see herself in 4 years?
Oh, wow. I guess, hopefully cutting ribbons in this city with infrastructure that makes livability in this city better. I'm hopeful that we are going to be seeing a great deal more housing, especially affordable housing, come to the city. And I hope in 4 years we're going to see us over the hump of what is going to be potentially a recession, 2023, 24. And I'm hopeful we're going to see more jobs in this city. We're going to see building that makes sense, and we're going to see more jobs come to Surrey.
Great. And in closing, anything you want to tell our viewers that they do not know about Mayor Brenda Locke? Anything you wish to share with them?
Oh, golly. What do you want to know about me? Just that I am incredibly humbled that how this election went. I absolutely want the city of Surrey to be a happy, livable city where people can live their dreams right here in Surrey.
Thank you so much for your time and, your hard work that you've already put in. And, we are looking forward to our collaboration with Sanjha TV and working hard with your team to share your vision of a better Surrey. And, as the slogan, the future does live here. And, we're happy that you're going to be looking after our generations that are already here and the generations to come. So again, thank you. And we look forward to, receiving more great updates like this from you soon.
I'm so happy to do that. And thank you for allowing me to talk today.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.